Was Cave Johnson a good boss? In order to figure this out, I'm going to look over the dialogue that he has in Portal 2 and use those as a guide for his character. I'm only going to be using the ones in the main campaign of Portal 2, so don't expect to see any of the alternative caves or unused dialogue. We are only using the ones that you will hear in the game. With that out of the way, let's dive in. We're starting off with this line.
Welcome, gentlemen, to Aperture Science. Astronauts, war heroes, Olympians, you're here because we want the best. And you are it. So, who is ready to make some science?
Alright, we're off to a great start. He honestly doesn't sound too bad here. This alone would draw in a bunch of people to see what Cave here has to offer. Let's see if he keeps up this momentum. Next line is this.
Now, you already met one another on the limo ride over, so let me introduce myself. I'm Cave Johnson. I own the place.
Huh, limos to your workplace. That doesn't sound too bad at all. However, I will admit, we do have to make some assumptions here. We don't know if he actually did this, or if he's just boasting to the new recruits that this happened. But if he really did give people a limo ride over, then I see no problems with it. On to our next line of dialogue.
That eager voice you heard is the lovely Carolyn, my assistant. Rest assured, she has transferred your honorarium to the charitable organization of your choice. Isn't that right, Carolyn?
Right, so this one will require you to hear Carolyn's dialogue, but since this is a video focused on Cave, I won't be playing her dialogue here. Still, even without her dialogue, Cave is doing a great job sounding like a good boss to work for. Still no problems so far. Here's the next line.
She's the backbone of this facility. Pretty as a postcard, too. Sorry, fellas, she's married. To science.
A nice compliment from your boss right there. I also liked how Cave trolled some of the men with the whole she's married part. No clue if that was intentional or not. Anyway, still no problems here. Moving on. Here it is.
There's 1,000 tests performed every day here in our enrichment spheres. I can't personally oversee every one of them, so these pre-recorded messages will cover any questions you might have and respond to any incidents that may occur in the course of your science adventure.
This one seems reasonable to me. If I had that many tests going on every day, I would also want to set up a system like that. Although I do have to ask, what kinds of incidents could occur during this work? Let's see if there's any other lines that make mentions of these incidents. As for the dialogue that he says here, again, I don't see any faults with it. Here's our next line.
Your test assignment will vary depending on the manner in which you have bent the world to your will.
I have no idea what this means, but it does sound encouraging, so I'll take that as a win, in terms of Cave being a good boss, and move on. Next line.
Those of you helping us test the repulsion gel today, just follow the blue line on the floor.
Not too much to say about this one, other than it's nice to have him help people where they need to go. Here's the next line.
Those of you who volunteered to be injected with praying mantis DNA, I've got some good news and some bad news. Bad news is we're postponing those tests indefinitely. Good news is we've got a much better test for you. Fighting an army of mantis men. Pick up a rifle and follow the yellow line. You'll know when the test starts.
Okay, I have several questions. 1. Did they actually create mantis men? 2. Is that the reason why they stopped injecting people with praying mantis DNA? 3. I'm pretty sure that is not how biology works, so how on earth did they achieve this? If you guys have any potential answers to these questions, let me know in the comments. Anyway, I'm not sure how to use this line in particular to judge if Cave is a good boss or not. I will leave this one to your own interpretation. Now, next line.
They say great science is built on the shoulders of giants. Not here. At Aperture, we do all our science from scratch. No hand-holding.
So, what does this mean exactly? Is it saying that you won't receive any help here? Or is it saying that they didn't copy from anyone else? Or get inspiration from them? I'm not too sure, but Cave sounds very confident here, and maybe this could be encouraging for some people. So, I will say that this is Cave being a good boss. We are now moving on to the dialogue Cave says in 1953. Here's our first line of dialogue.
All right, let's get started. This first test involves something the lab boys call repulsion gel. You're not part of the control group, by the way. You get the gel. Last poor son of a gun got blue paint. All joking aside, that did happen. Broke every bone in his legs. Tragic, but informative. Or so I'm told.
Okay, what? They let someone jump from that height onto what he thought was repulsion gel and he broke his legs? Again, we do have to make some assumptions on why they would do this, but still, this is very cruel. Therefore, this tilts Cave in the direction of a bad boss. Let's see if this is about to get any worse. Next line.
The lab boys just informed me that I should not have mentioned the control group. They're telling me I ought to stop making these pre-recorded messages. That gave me an idea. Make more pre-recorded messages. I pay the bills here, I can talk about the control group all damn day.
I'm not too sure how to feel about this one. On one side, I understand where the lab boys are coming from, but I also understand that Cave is the boss here. Therefore, he can do what he wants. Still though, if the smart people are saying that you shouldn't do something, and you still do it anyway, then there's something wrong with you. On to our next line.
For this next test, we put nanoparticles in the gel. In layman's terms, that's a billion little gizmos that are going to travel into your bloodstream and pump experimental genes and RNA molecules and so forth into your tumors. Now, maybe you don't have any tumors. Well, don't worry. If you sat on a folding chair in the lobby and weren't wearing lead underpants, we took care of that too.
I have no idea where to even start with this one. I will say this though, having something being put into you without your consent is not good. Therefore, this definitely pushes Cave into the bad boss territory a little bit more. Moving on now, next line.
Oh, in case you got covered in that repulsion gel, here's some advice the lab boys gave me. Do not get covered in the repulsion gel. We haven't entirely nailed down what element it is yet, but I'll tell you this, it's a lively one, and it does not like the human skeleton.
So, did Cave not read the advice the lab boys gave him before reading it out loud? Did he just assume that it was some advice and roll with it? Because what he said right there was not advice. It was a warning. On to our next line, which takes place in 1957.
All these science spheres are made of asbestos, by the way. Keeps out the rats. Let us know if you feel a shortness of breath, a persistent dry cough, or your heart stopping, because that's not part of the test. That's asbestos.
Well, that's concerning as hell. Asbestos is no joke, and definitely should not have been used in anything, especially as something as big as spheres. So yeah, definitely a bad boss for choosing asbestos, even if it does help keep the rats out. Here's our next line.
Good news is the lab boys say the symptoms of asbestos poisoning show a median latency of 44.6 years. So if you're 30 or older, you're laughing. Worst case scenario, you miss out on a few rounds of canasta. Plus, you forwarded the cause of science by 3 centuries. I punch those numbers into my calculator, it makes a happy face.
I'm sorry, I don't know how to handle this one. I'll let you guys figure it out in the comments. Next line.
Ha! I like your style. You make up your own rules, just like me. Bean Counter said I couldn't fire a man just for being in a wheelchair. Did it anyway. Ramps are expensive.
Okay, first off, that was rude as hell. Second, I'll give him points for the compliment. Still though, that compliment alone cannot repair the cracks that are showing in his facade. Cave right here is being evil, all for the sake of saving a few bucks. Let's see if this gets any worse, shall we? Here's the next line.
Just a heads up, that coffee we gave you earlier had fluorescent calcium in it so we can track the neuronal activity in your brain. There's a slight chance the calcium could harden and vitrify your frontal lobe. Anyway, don't stress yourself thinking about it. I'm serious. Visualizing the scenario while under stress actually triggers the reaction.
Well, that's horrifying. Do you know how hard it is to get your brain to stop thinking about something sometimes? If you know, you know. Anyway, Cave is definitely becoming more of a bad boss as we go through these lines. Speaking of which, here's the next one in 1958.
Now, if you're part of control group Kepler-7, we implanted a tiny microchip about the size of a postcard into your skull. Most likely you've forgotten it's even there. But if it starts vibrating and beeping during this next test, let us know, because that means it's about to hit 500 degrees, so we're going to need to go ahead and get that out of you pretty fast.
No, just no. Why on earth would you do that? And for what purpose? He never brings this up again, just like how he hasn't mentioned any of the incidents that could occur during your science adventure. So this is becoming very concerning, and I no longer want to be in the same building as this man. Next line.
I'm telling them, keep your pants on. All right, this next test may involve trace amounts of time travel. So, word of advice, if you meet yourself on the testing track, don't make eye contact. Lab boys tell me that'll wipe out time. Entirely. Forward and backward. So, do both of yourselves a favor and just let that handsome devil go about his business.
Huh, this one is rather tame, considering what we've heard so far. This just pushed Cave a little bit back into the good boss side, but not by much. Anyway, on to our next line of dialogue, which is this.
If you're hearing this, it means you're taking a long time on the catwalks between tests. The lab boys say that might be a fear reaction.
Alright, I'm not liking where this is going, but let's hear the rest of it.
I'm no psychiatrist, but coming from a bunch of eggheads who wouldn't recognize the thrill of danger if it walked up and snapped their little pink bras, that sounds like projection.
Okay, it's getting a little worse, but we're at the final stretch now. Let's see if he improves, or not.
They didn't fly into space, storm a beach, or bring back the gold. No, sir, we did. It's you and me against the world, son. I like your grit. Hustle could use some work, though. Now let's solve this thing.
Right, so it is encouraging to some degrees, but it's also dismissive and insulting. That gets a neutral point from me. Not good, but not bad either. Next line.
Science isn't about why, it's about why not. Why is so much of our science dangerous? Why not marry safe science if you love it so much? In fact, why not invent a special safety door that won't hit you on the butt on the way out, because you are fired. Now you, test subject, you're doing fine. Yes, you. Box your stuff. Out the front door. Parking lot. Car. Goodbye.
I'm going to give this little rant a neutral stance. Again, he is both nice here, but he's also cruel. That's why I can't say if he's good or bad here. Unfortunately, I must end the video here, as it's gone on long enough. But don't you worry, part 2 of this video will be coming out eventually. There, I will cover the rest of Cave's dialogue. Until then, I'll see you guys next time. Hello, and welcome to part 2 of Is Cave Johnson a Good Boss? If you haven't seen my first video about this, then please go and watch that first. Now, let's get into this. Our first line of dialogue is this.
Congratulations! The simple fact that you're standing here listening to me means you've made a glorious contribution to science.
Huh, he's back to being nice again. Man, this guy loves to change his tune a lot. Let's see what he has to say next.
As founder and CEO of Aperture Science, I thank you for your participation and hope we can count on you for another round of tests.
Again, he's being very nice here, but we can't let that distract us from what he said before, and how he behaved. So keep that in mind as we go through these. Here's the next line.
We're not going to release this stuff into the wild until it's good and damn ready, so as long as you keep yourself in top physical form, there'll always be a limo waiting for you.
Why on earth is he being so nice now? Or is he just being sarcastic? Honestly, at this point, I can't tell what he's doing, but it's tempting me to push him back into the good boss territory. Next line.
Say goodbye, Carolyn.
A nice and simple one. Nothing to say here, on to our next line.
She is a gem.
Another compliment from your boss. He must really like her. I'm not sure in a romantic way or just a professional one. Anyway, moving on. Here are the next lines that he says from the 70s.
Greetings, friend. I'm Cave Johnson, CEO of Aperture Science. You might know us as a vital participant in the 1968 Senate hearings on missing astronauts. And you've most likely used one of the many products we invented, but that other people have somehow managed to steal from us. Black Mesa can eat my bankrupt...
And there we go. When you first play this game, this will come as a big shock to you. That Portal is set in the same universe as Half-Life. It definitely shocked me when I first heard it. Anyway, as for what he says here, I'm not too sure how to judge him for it. I will say this though, the fact that he has gone bankrupt should tell you a lot about his spending habits. On to our next line.
Right. Now you might be asking yourself, Cave, just how difficult are these tests? What was in that phone book of a contract I signed? Am I in danger? Let me answer those questions with a question. Who wants to make $60? Cash.
Huh, he's dodging the question here. That's definitely suspicious. I'm guessing there was a lot of shady things in that contract. The tests are also difficult, depending on your skill level. And you're definitely in danger down here, especially with all of this asbestos and deadly goo. So yeah, bad boss territory. Next line.
You can also feel free to relax for up to 20 minutes in the waiting room, which is a damn sight more comfortable than the park benches most of you were sleeping on when we found you.
Okay, he just admitted to kidnapping. I don't care what he has to say next. He is firmly in the bad boss territory now. Here's the next line.
So, welcome to Aperture. You're here because we want the best, and you're it. Nope. Couldn't keep a straight face.
Yeah, we're in it because you kidnapped us. Does this guy not realize what he just said before? Man, what a strange individual he is. Next line.
Anyway, don't smudge up the glass down there. In fact, why don't you just go ahead and not touch anything unless it's test related?
Why is he saying that? You know that when you tell people not to do things, they are going to do it, right? It's just human behavior. Perhaps he was trying to warn people. I don't know. Moving on.
The testing area is just up ahead. The quicker you get through, the quicker you'll get your 60 bucks.
Now, I don't know if 60 bucks was good enough back then or a pitiful amount. So if you guys could tell me, that would be great. And if that pushes Cave even further into the bad boss territory, also tell me. On to the next line.
Carolyn, are the compensation vouchers ready?
Compensation vouchers. Compensation vouchers. For what? For what reason? How much would you be compensated? What is going on here? I can see why GLaDOS freaked out here. I would too. Next line.
Great job, astronaut, war hero, and or Olympian. With your help, we're gonna change the world. This on? Hey, listen up down there. That thing's called an elevator, not a bathroom.
No words for this one, other than it's a little bit funny. Here's our next line.
If you're interested in an additional $60, flag down a test associate and let them know. You could walk out of here with 120 weighing down your bindle if you let us take you apart, put some science stuff in you, then put you back together, good as new.
I do not think that amount of money is worth it. I don't know what they're going to do with me. I don't know if it's even going to be safe. How can I even trust these people when they have a boss like Cave? No, just no. Here's the next line.
In case you're interested, there's still some positions available for that bonus opportunity I mentioned earlier. Again, all you gotta do is let us disassemble you. We're not banging rocks together here. We know how to put a man back together.
Yeah, sure you do. I'm gonna need proof before I let you guys do anything. And you're gonna have to pay me more. Next line.
So, that's a complete reassembly. New vitals, spit shine on the old ones, plus we're scooping out tumors. Frankly, you ought to be paying us.
While that does sound nice, I'm still not sure if I would want to undergo that operation. Like, what if you kill me? Again, keep your guard up, folks. On to our next line.
Thank you. I can't believe I'm thanking these people. For staggering your way through Aperture Science's propulsion gel testing. You've made some real contributions to society for a change, and for that, humanity is grateful.
While he did say some kind words, you can tell he didn't want to do it in the first place. And if he could do that with people who passed the propulsion gel tests, then he can do that to his own staff. Therefore, he's still a bad boss. Here's the next line.
If you had any belongings, please pick them up now. We don't want old newspapers and sticks cluttering up the building.
Why would he say sticks? Newspapers I can understand, but sticks? This man just says random things from time to time, and I don't get it. Anyway, moving on to the next line.
For many of you, I realize $60 is an unprecedented windfall, so don't go spending it all on, I don't know, Carolyn, what do these people buy? Tattered hats? Beard dirt?
Yeah, no shit. 60 is definitely not enough. At least, in my opinion. Also, he just insulted you as well. So yeah, not a nice person. He's got that rich attitude on him, even though that he said he was bankrupt only a few lines ago. Crazy, huh? Next line from the 80s.
Welcome to the Enrichment Center. Since making test participation mandatory for all employees, the quality of our test subjects has risen dramatically. Employee retention, however, has not.
I mean, yeah, that's what happens when you treat your employees like lab rats. You kind of brought this onto yourself, Cave. Next line.
As a result, you may have heard we're going to phase out human testing. There's still a few things left to wrap up, though.
Oh, good. They are removing humans. That should solve a whole bunch of issues for them. To be honest, I'm a little bit surprised that they didn't do this earlier. Oh well, what does concern me is that he said that they still have a few tests to wrap up. Let's see what he means by that.
First up, conversion gel. The bean counters told me we literally could not afford to buy $7 worth of moon rocks, much less 70 million. Bought them anyway, ground them up, mixed them into a gel. And guess what? Ground up moon rocks are pure poison. I am deathly ill.
Yep, it's official. This man is crazy. I didn't really notice it before in all of my playthroughs of this game, mostly because I was too busy solving the puzzle before me. But now that I'm hearing this without that distraction, yeah, Cave is a madman. Next line.
Still, it turns out they're a great portal conductor. So now, we're going to see if jumping in and out of these new portals can somehow leach the lunar poison out of a man's bloodstream. When life gives you lemons, make lemonade. Let's all stay positive and do some science.
It makes sense. You need white surfaces in order to fire your portals. So having a gel that can paint any surface in white is pretty cool. I just have one question. Why didn't they just fill those pumps with white paint? Or some other liquid that leaves a white substance? Just saying. On to the next line.
That said, I would really appreciate it if you could test as fast as possible. Carolyn, please bring me more pain pills.
I don't think going faster through the test would ease the pain, Cave. Anyway, I don't have anything to say. Moving on. Next line.
All right, I've been thinking. When life gives you lemons, don't make lemonade. Make life take the lemons back. Get mad! I don't want your damn lemons! What am I supposed to do with these? Demand to see life's manager. Make life rue the day it thought it could give Cave Johnson lemons. Do you know who I am? I'm the man who's gonna burn your house down with the lemons. I'm gonna get my engineers to invent a combustible lemon that burns your house down.
I don't have any words here other than absolute cinema, the most iconic and recognizable thing that Cave has ever said. No clue on how this makes him a good or a bad boss, though. Here's the next line.
The point is, if we can store music on a compact disc, why can't we store a man's intelligence and personality on one? So I have the engineers figuring that out now.
Oh no, I don't like where this is going. Next line.
Brain mapping. Artificial intelligence. We should have been working on it 30 years ago. I will say this, and I'm going to say it on tape so everybody hears it 100 times a day. If I die before you people can pour me into a computer, I want Carolyn to run this place.
I mean, that is a bit nice, but I bet he's going to say something bad. Get ready.
Now she'll argue. She'll say she can't. She's modest like that, but you make her.
Cave? No. I'm pretty sure they can get someone else to do it. Oh, he ain't done though. Here's the next line.
Hell, put her in my computer. I don't care.
And there we go. This is where the idea of GLaDOS originated from. Good job, Cave. You are responsible for the deaths that will happen in the future. The only thing that I have to ask is, why did his engineers go through with it? Like, Cave is gone, so they don't have to listen to him anymore. But they did it anyway? What's wrong with these people? One last line from Cave to end things off with.
All right, test's over. You can head on back to your desk.
No words, other than, you were a very, very bad boss, Cave. I highly doubt that you will be missed. Now, I'm not going to cover any of the lines that he says from the vitrified doors. I'll let you guys decide if he's a good or a bad boss from those. As for what I think after going through all of these lines, well, I think you know what I'm going to say. Yes, Cave is indeed a bad boss. He started off great, but slowly got worse over time. I have no idea what caused this change to happen. I suppose no one can remain the same. Still though, there's a part of me that wonders what would have happened if Cave stayed on the right path. Would GLaDOS not have even existed? Who knows? Anyway, that's all I have to say for today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.